Right now, I'm in a state where I am witnessing, experiencing what is it like to be in this place where the body or the persona is embodying neutrality. Okay. And Jesus Christ. It's interesting because I am now like reading through my half day. Okay. It's now around 2, almost 3. So I got off bed around 12. Um, Usually I wake up early, but I always stay in bed until like 12. And I will just be and, hold space for whatever that needs to be. That's just my routine for now. I don't know for how long, but that's what we are doing in these days. So coming back to this mastering a neutrality, which was a message here written on the 14th of June this year. It's a download that I received that they have in deeper information on how to master neutrality. Okay, so I get downloads and I get more in-depth information about whatever the theme is. So here is about mastering neutrality. So this happened 14th of June, and now we on the 3rd of July. So I'm the kind of person who receive information that is about to be experienced by the person in me, right? Let's say I receive information about clarity, the state of clarity, and I'll get in-depth information about that state. What is it like? How does it show up? What sort of feeling energetically do you experience when you're in that state of clarity? How do you see things? How you relate to them? How do you position yourself? How do you approach? What sort of action? So everything is actually explained, okay? And after some time, the person, the ego in me will embody that. I will find myself actually doing exactly what was actually downloaded. Each one by one, I'll be doing all those elements that have been downloaded. I'll be like embodying them, basically, clarity itself. So now we're moving on to this state of neutrality, and how do we do that? So the first line that comes is, mastering neutrality requires that our own ego dies in the face of disturbing energies. That's what we are getting here. That's the first line, okay? Mastering neutrality requires that our own ego dies in the face of disturbing energies. I'll tell you something. After I actually moved from my bed, I went to do a 30 minutes yoga, and I wanted to do it inside the house, but I was guided to go outside and do it outside on the grass. So I did it outside, and I was there within like 2 minutes, or maybe 5 minutes. Then the dog, so where I'm staying, dogs can roam around and stuff. This dog that does not even belong in our household usually passes on the road, on the part where I was actually doing the yoga. So I just heard the dog barking. I saw it first, and then he started barking because I feel like it didn't know what to do. So it was somehow frightened by my presence, and it didn't know what to do, whether to move towards me or to turn around and walk away. So it was barking, and you could see it was barking at my presence because it wanted to move, but it was afraid. And instantly, at that moment, while I was doing yoga, I was, quickly, drawn into this state where you let go and let be, and you just stay in the present and allow things to. So I kind of like remember, oh, that's the state, the dog is doing its own thing, and my body initially, when it had the barking, because in my past I have a history with dogs of being afraid of dogs and barking. So my body initially, it responded with that little bit of anxiety. You can feel like, okay, what should I do now? Should I run, or should I chase the dog away? Should I, I could see all these things, all these thoughts and these narratives, these edges in my body. And then I was just, left into this state of being aware and being, kind of like connected to that state of nothingness where everything is just perfect as it is. That's what I experienced. Like, let the dog bark, let the body be the body, and just continue doing what you are doing. And it's exactly what I did. I just followed the instruction, and I continued. I don't know, the dog, it left, and I just, and I was like aware of how these two energies, like now, to mimic the duality. So my presence and the dog's presence mimic the duality, because now they are two opposite energy. Like the dog is coming in and I'm there, and it's reacting from the presence of my own, and my body is reacting from the presence of the dog. And then this higher self is like walking me through that experience, and just kind of like harmonizing those energy by me as a person to see it, to witness what was happening, and just simply release it, acknowledges what is happening, accept what is as it is, and simply let go and let be and embrace what is as it is kind of experience. And that's, for me, that's a state of neutrality, because the state of neutrality is neither for nor against. That position, I was not against. The against reaction will be me chasing the dog away. Do you understand? But it was neither for nor against anything. It was simply in that pureness of beingness, and of seeing things as they are, and simply acknowledging this is it, and I was reminded one day I was working in Cape Town, and I decided to take a walk on the other side, close to the Table Mountain. And I remember that area there, there's like houses on there. So I was walking, and out of the blue, I was walking, happy, moving, and then out of so big dog started barking and coming outside from its own house, and I just saw it, and I just like look at it, and I continue walking. I felt the same sensation. So the sensation I felt today was as like you're triggered by this, but then you quickly move on, like you move on. And that's what happened today for me. It was like that in cueness and being synchronized to life and life circumstances as they coming, and you seeing them and witnessing and experience the moment, and just being infused with them, and just it's like this energy is carrying you through every life circumstances, and seemingly uniting everything together. Like everything is just working together without separating the sense of self from from what is happening, or separating the situation, but seeing things as they are, which is very interesting, because I'm experiencing more of this neutrality, which is also yesterday I had this moment where I was actually responding to someone, and usually I tend to hold back sometimes, and or push or think on something, and I was just being guided in such a wonderful way, like because I feel like in the past I used to question a lot of what I have to say and stuff like that, not knowing that I am enough. It doesn't matter what I respond, doesn't matter what I'm saying, doesn't matter. It's not even about what you're saying, it's about being in that state of awareness, and of seeing things for what they are, and also understanding the laws and principles that triggers certain things in within human consciousness, for other person like to say something or to act in a certain way for you to feel. Because one thing I've come to understand also in the past, I used to keep a lot without giving back, because I felt like if I give back, then I'm gonna create a sin. So now I'm seeing a different side of me, that it's not thinking twice. It's not about overthinking, and it's not being overwhelmed by emotions. It's coming from a very calm place of seeing things, and just moving and acting accordingly. And I saw myself, it's like I was just given a moment to witness that when I was responding to this, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, because usually normally I know my old patterns would be like, oh wait, let's hold on, let's hold it back, let's not say it, like I'll keep things, do you understand? And that's the platform or pattern of disconnection, being disconnected. But in a sense of being connected, you move with the flow, you move freely, there's no fear, there's no worry, there's no fear of the outcomes, how other people are going to my mind is not even there. Whereas in the past I lived in that for a longest time, where I'll always constantly think for other people, how they're going to feel, how they're going to respond, what they're going to think. I always put myself on that pedestal, and what I'm experiencing now, I am not in there. I'm in them now. I'm not thinking about the outcome. I'm not thinking about how things are supposed to be, how people are supposed to feel, what they should think about me, like painting a picture, wanting people to feel a certain, projecting a part of me that is not even authentic of me. So now I was like raw, like I'm not thinking, I'm just feeling my instinct, and I'm just acting accordingly, and I'm not afraid and worried about the outcomes of my own actions, and I'm feeling ready and and willing to meet life where it is, to face life, situation as they are, to meet whatever that I have to meet. If my actions cause a certain consequence, I'm willing to take responsibility, because I feel whole and enough to meet life where it is. I feel like, everything is working together, and I'm not afraid of anything. Do you understand? I'm not afraid of being wrong, or of being, I'm not afraid if people call me certain things. I'm not afraid of, how other people are going to think, what they're going to say. I'm not afraid who says what. I'm not afraid. My mind is not even there. My mind is fully immersed in this state of home, and like a loving energy that holds me as I am in any way and or aspect and way of expressing myself. It's like, we love you tons. We love you. We love you to a point that we allow you to be as you are, whatever you feel, whatever you sense, whatever whatever it is that it feels whole to you and resonate to energy at the time. Go with it. Do you understand? Whatever is aligned with you. Don't think twice, don't question, don't doubt, nothing. Simply being present, feel what you're receiving right now, and let it take you there. Don't stop it. Don't hold it back. Don't like, oh no, I can't. No. You're enough, and you're whole, and you're loved unconditionally as you are. And that's the message I kept I'm keeping hearing, and that's what I'm feeling. Like I'm super, super, super loved, Yeah. Sometimes I get emotional just to become aware of this, and experiencing and knowing that whatever decision choices I make in life, there is no right or wrong about it. There's no good or bad. It's only a state of mind that we tend to see that, or certain lenses that we use to view life, that renders us feeling that we are wrong or right, and also based on the belief system that we believe to be true to ourselves. So whatever you hold to be true, and that's what I actually felt in the past. I lived so much in that state of duality, where I was just separating and dividing my sense of self, and also doing that to other people. Now I'm like oneness. Everything is in the flow. Everything, you come, you say, I respond, whether in silence or whether with words or whether with action. That is basically what's the play and what is called for at that time. And I am one and in harmony with that. I'm not dividing nothing. I'm not dividing. And actually today, what the highlight of this whole neutrality, I was reminded of a scene when I was a child, when I was like maybe 9, walking in the rain, going to school, elementary school, in bare feet, and with a short dress, and it was cold, and and getting to school late, and then the principal punishing us and beating us with little tiny hands, frozen tiny hand with a pipe, like they do some lectures, sir. And I just have that memory of me that time, and holding out my hand, because they'll beat you in your hand, and then I felt the pain, as the principal was like 4 times taller than me, and she was big and huge, and she was just going with all her weight, throwing in, boom, boom, boom. I don't know how many lectures that she gave me, but I felt all the pain in my heart was pumping, sending heat all over my body. I was just so much aware of all this. And then in the end, I was given this moment where how to see that whole thing that happened there. What comes to me, and came nothing. Like there was nothing. that came at that time when I was reminded of this scenario, an incident that I actually encountered as a child. And there was super nothing. Like, there wasn't a right or wrong, there wasn't a good or bad. My principal wasn't the bad person and I was a good person. I wasn't the wrong person and she was a good person. It was like a moment, an experience that as a child I have encountered, and that's it. That's all I got out of that. And for me, that was like, wow. And then out of that, I was actually connected to other similar experiences that I've experienced that rendered me to the same states. So I was actually, connecting to this. It's like I'm reminded, like, you have lived here before. You've been to this state of neutrality. It's not first time that you're experiencing now. Maybe you've forgotten about it, but you're not aware of it. But you've lived here before. This is a state now you are now reconnecting to, coming home to the state of unity, of neutrality, of harmony, of oneness, of flow, of connection, of being synchronized to life with all aspects of being and ways of seeing and all things in life. And I was like, oh wow. So this whole, day, which is not even a whole day, I'm experiencing this. And then finally now, after I finish my breakfast, which I eat after, this time, because breakfast in this point where I'm living, that we don't even know, mastering neutrality. And I was actually led to take this book. So there I was sitting here after I finished. I was like, I want to listen to something. And I could see the person in me wants to create something, but I'm kept on, pushed back to this book, open this book. And the first thing when I open, boom, bang, mastering neutrality, which makes the whole full circle of the experiences, like in this morning when I wake up, when I was sitting, when I was actually holding space, when I was actually having and writing, journaling, and then came to this whole thing about me being a child and going through that and having to feel through that moment. As much, in a person we see things in a different way, but I'm in this state of neutrality that tends to alchemize energy. In fact, you come to the state of neutrality as a result of having your both energies, masculine and feminine energy, being harmonized, like have already created that sense of harmony from within, and the outside tends to reflect that. Do you understand? I'm not so sure if I have to read it all, but I just had to. I said neutrality comes from a state of clarity, to see things as they are. It is a product of having clarity, understanding of how life circumstances comes to be in our surface. It is the state of openness, receptivity to life circumstances as they are. It is a state of openness, receptivity to life circumstances as a whole. A state where all things make sense and are welcomed as they are. It's a state of self-awareness and that has the understanding of how things come to be, especially on a conscious level of being. This one I jumped here. Neutrality comes as a result of letting go of the need to be anything. Shoo, that is tight. Exactly. Let's go back to that scenario of a dog this morning. Like letting go. I was actually reminded, letting go, let things be, let go of the dog, let go of the edges, the body sensation, and then you actually brought into the state of neutrality by being aware of what is happening, the edges, the triggering situation, thing, a person, whatever that triggers something in you, and just simply be aware of it and then simply acknowledge, accept, and let go. So it says here in this second, neutrality comes as a result of letting go of the need to be anything, anyone, to do something, as a result of being triggered or by an event that is taking place in this moment. How can I jump? This is the second paragraph. Ha, child. Do you see the reflection? Wow. So let's go here. I want to read it from the beginning now. So mastering neutrality, that's ahead. All this is written here. Mastering neutrality requires that our own ego dies in the face of disturbing energies. Let's read it again. Mastering neutrality requires that our own ego dies in the face of disturbing energies. The urges, the need to have control, the body reflexes, the triggering urges. Neutrality comes as a result of letting go of the need to be anything. Letting go of the need to be anything or anyone, to do something as a result of being triggered or by an event that is taking place in this moment. Neutrality is a product that comes as a result of being able to hold space for things to be as they are without the need to change anything about them. Neutrality comes from a state of clarity, to see things as they are. It is a product of having clarity, understanding of how life circumstances come to be in our surfaces. It is the state of openness, receptivity to life circumstances as a whole. A state where all things make sense and are welcome as they are. It's a state of self-awareness, and that has the understanding of how things come to be, especially on a conscious level of being. We love and leave it here. That's the message for this day or morning or for this moment. Okay.